Hi everyone. On Sunday, I talked about the way Mary and Joseph were ready to not only accept Jesus, but welcome Jesus, with all the challenges and the costs that were involved in doing that they both were ready to not only believe what was said to them, but say yes and amen, as it were. And I felt like as we continue to reflect on that, it would be good to do three things in your life groups or as an individual. And in particular, to reflect a bit more on Mary and what her response was like and what lessons we can learn from that. So I'd like to encourage you to have a look in Luke's Gospel and look at three different parts of Luke in the early stages and consider your response as we reflect on her response. The first thing is to look at Luke 1 verse 38 and where Mary says this. She says, "I am the Lord's servant. May your word to me be fulfilled." What a fantastic thing to be able to say. And she was ready to say that despite the fact that was going to mean all sorts of cost to her and to Joseph, all sorts of shame potentially, all sorts of dishonor, all sorts of natural costs that comes with being a mother, but many costs that go beyond that. And she, at the age of 12, Joseph was lost for 3 days. At the age of 30, she thought he'd gone mad. At the age of 33, 3 years later, she watched her son dying. And we can see how what Simeon prophesied about her soul being pierced actually became a reality. There was all sorts of costs to her saying yes to Jesus. And I wonder if you would like to take a little bit of time just to talk and share and process what are the costs that you have and are now embracing in accepting and serving Jesus. What are the costs that you have and are now embracing in accepting and serving Jesus? And maybe not only looking back and looking at the present, but going forward, what are the costs that you imagine if you're going to really faithfully serve Jesus? What are the costs that are going to be for you? Then the second thing you might like to look at is the verse in Luke 2 verse 19, where after Jesus has been born and the angel has appeared to the shepherds and they've come down and seen Jesus. This is what it says. It says, but Mary treasured up these things and pondered them in her heart. Mary treasured up these things and pondered them in her heart. And there is something really healthy about taking time to reflect on the things that God has said to us, the things that God has done, whether God has spoken to you through his word, whether God has brought different prophetic words into your life, whether you've seen his hand at work in different ways. There's something about taking time to ponder what he's saying to you, what he's doing, some of the things that's going on, and also to sort of treasure them. So what are the things, this is my second question really, what are the things that you are treasuring and pondering on at the moment? What are the things that you're treasuring and pondering on at the moment? And the third thing I'd like to encourage you to do is to turn to Luke chapter 1 and be ready to read verses 46 to 55. This is Mary's great expression of praise when she meets Elizabeth and is just in awe at what God has said to her and what God is going to do in her and through her. And it's just this whole, I imagine her dancing around the room as she gives this incredible exclamation, what's called the Magnificat, as she just glorifies God. And I would like to encourage you, if you're together as a group, to slowly read through this passage. Maybe read a couple of verses, then stop and use it as a launch pad for different people to just pray out of and almost join with Mary in celebrating and giving praise to God. So to read a couple of verses, 2 or 3 people to lead you in prayer and thanks and worship, and then to read a couple more verses and similarly let that be a launch pad for someone or some people leading you in prayer, and then go on. Let's give some time to just giving praise to him. What an awesome God he is, that he should give us Jesus. And let's not take for granted what he's done, but let's express our hearts of thanks to him. Trust you have a great time together as you process this a little bit further. And if you're just thinking as an individual and reflecting, may God speak to you and encourage you as you delve into his word and take some time to reflect. God bless.